that you're going nowhere. Don't blame me for what you've done, because I know that you are having fun.
Welcome to the Clarified Realty Podcast, exposing the real estate secrets your agent doesn't want you to know. Here's your host, Tom Clary.
Well, don't you just walk away. That's when I'll say.
Welcome to the Clarified Realty Podcast. I'm Tom Clary, and I'm your host. I'm a real estate agent here in the beautiful state of California, Los Angeles to be exact. I'm here with my co-host, Ron Bruno. How you doing today, sir?
I'm doing great, Tom. Thank you for asking.
Good. Well, we had a week off last week.
Yes.
You went traveling.
Yeah, I was back in Texas.
Yeah. So how did that go?
It was good. It was good. Yeah, we had a
technology ball representing.
Yes, we did. So we had technology cocktails. So these are lead-up events. And, we had the best and brightest in the technology industry. So, mixing and mingling with the head of IT of Gold's Gym. And,
wow.
Yeah, they relocated, I guess, from Venice.
Interesting.
And a couple other big executives and the sponsors. They cover the cost to make it a great event, but it was at Tesla, so it was at the service center.
Yeah, I saw those.
And
those
it was
beautiful cars.
A Model X, so it's a new model that they just came out. It's an SUV, but it had those what are those, butterfly wings?
Yeah, right. Yeah, the gull wings.
Gull wing. There you go.
Yeah.
Gull wing doors.
Right.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome.
Nice. And you mentioned Gold's Gym. I can't think of a more like California business, literally like guys on the beach working out,
right,
and moving to Texas.
Yeah.
Wow.
Toyota recently moved to Frisco. Yeah. There's a lot of companies moving to Texas.
Yeah, well, they're doing a lot to kind of grab that business.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true. Yeah.
So we're going to be talking news today. Today is one of our news days. We got some great stories lined up, but I wanted to kind of, I talked to Ron about this. I got to get some stuff off my chest.
Yeah, you were seeming pretty fiery.
I am going to start.
What's on your mind, my friend?
I've got a rant I got to stop with. It's right. And look, guys, one of the reasons that I started this podcast was so that everybody would kind of understand what to expect from the real estate process, so that there's no, shenanigans behind the scenes, that you're as knowledgeable about the process. You may not know exactly what to do in the transaction, but you know the process just about as good as anybody. And when I run into some of the things that I ran into this last week, it starts to make me so angry about what's going on behind the scenes that maybe you guys don't know about. And it really has to do with the bad behavior of really bad agents. So I'll start the conversation with a little bit of the first thing that's on my. I'm so angry about all of them that it's hard to know where to start, right? But okay, so yesterday I'm calling about a listing that one of my buyers is interested in, right? And it's a beautiful home. It's like one of those kind of, like, it's a flip, and it looks beautiful inside, and it's anything you could ask for. It's got a pool in the back. Like, there's no reason that you would not want this house, right? I mean, short of things that, neighborhood taste and things like that, right? So look, I will be the first to say that I made an error.
Oh.
I made an error.
All right, well,
Can you believe it?
Good for you for standing up for it.
I missed on the listing information that you're supposed to call a certain number. So unfortunately, I called. Yeah, really? It's that. I mean, literally, is that like capital crime that I missed?
Was it like The Big Short? I mean, that guy.
Which guy?
Brad Pitt's character.
Okay.
Right, where he calls the wrong number and he's like, hang up, and he's like, dirty bomb, dirty bomb, dirty bomb. And he keeps hanging up on him. And then they have the music going on in the background with Colorado.
It's something like that.
Yeah, so
something like
that's
that.
Me singing.
Well, no, but I mean, it was literally just an error.
Yeah.
And I apologized for the error that I called a different number.
Oh my God.
Right? But here's the thing, right? If an agent gets a call from a potential buyer,
yes,
that's awesome.
Yes.
You you don't care what line it comes in on.
You do not.
Why would you care about something so insignificant, right?
They could drop a carrier pigeon. I don't care.
Literally.
If I'm being communicated with for a loan, I will be very happy.
Like Game of Thrones, tie a little scroll to the raven's leg.
The raven node.
Throw it out off out of the Winterfell.
Yes.
I'm all good.
Yeah.
This guy, for the next 5 minutes, after I apologized,
Okay.
after I profusely apologized,
Yeah.
went off on, this is the wrong number, and it had said in the instructions, and
Dude.
I've already apologized.
Right.
And then for the next
What, he thought
5
realtors were
minutes,
detail-oriented?
well, right,
I mean, come on.
Well, look, I'll give him, I made a mistake.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
But then for the next 10 minutes that I was forced to be on the phone with this a-hole, I literally had to listen to him talk to me like I was a 3-year-old.
Oh, no.
Right? Now, I have in my pocket
Yeah.
an amazingly well-qualified buyer. Mm-hmm. And this guy has now turned me off so bad
Yeah.
that while I'm trying to stay neutral, I'm always going to be neutral, and I'm always going to present the information that was given to me and try not to let it color me, because hey, listen, that's one of my jobs.
Right.
I need to make sure that all sorts of information is communicated in the proper way. But you can bet your ass, when I called my client, I wasn't exactly cheery. I wasn't exactly like going, hey, oh my God, we've got to get in there now.
Right.
Oh, sir, get that bid in now. Get that bid in.
Right.
And so this son of a whatever has done a disservice to his client,
Absolutely.
to his seller.
Right.
Because he's turned off, probably, we had room to go. We had room to go. So we were at list. We could have gone even further. But then I think that I'm going to say that my client read my vibe.
Yeah.
And they understood. It's like, oh, this guy's a real jerk.
So why is that? What is the psychology for, was he just pompous? I mean, was he trying to teach you a lesson?
Look, I'll give him this much of credit. You're dealing with a lot of, because one in every 50 people in California is a real estate agent.
Yeah.
You've got a lot of novices.
Sure.
You've got a lot of newbies. So when you hear from someone who has made an honest mistake,
Right.
you could have thrown them in the pile of those newbies. And I get that.
Right.
Right? But when you hear an apology,
Yeah.
and a gracious apology at that,
Right.
you should be turning it off,
Absolutely.
business, professional,
Right.
cheery.
Yeah.
Because here's the other thing. When I hear him talk to me like that, I'm not imagining this moment. I'm imagining when we go to the request for repairs.
Oh, absolutely.
When
Yeah.
we're going to be having to really negotiate and keep the deal on track.
Right.
And this guy, I wouldn't literally, I was going to say, I definitely wouldn't want to be in a trench with him, because he might get a bullet in his back, but you know what I mean?
Well, and you look at it. So the guy, he kind of puts up this front, and I get it, if he gets bombarded by inexperienced agents, whatever, but I mean, there's a deal to be done at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Right. And it's not like he's an intern. He's calling the CEO.
Yeah, right.
And he's cold calling, and he's like, can I have a, coffee with you? And you're like, dude, I don't have time to have coffee with you.
And you still be gracious to those people, by the way.
Right, but there's something that he wants too, and that's a sale.
Right.
Which that's crazy. I mean, I have 2 examples, right, for this, and it's specifically dealing with listing agents, right? So the first example is,
and by the way, that's very telling, because because the listing agents, especially right now, have the power.
Of course.
And so they've got that kind of power trip attitude.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. They're like, if I list it, they will come and we'll go over asking, and you have to woo me, right?
It is such a disservice.
And if you don't come in at the perfect way and call the right number and fall over backwards in trying to please me, I'm going to shoot you down and treat you like the Game of Thrones character that you are.
Yeah, he doesn't. Right? And by the way, he doesn't know, hey, maybe this deal isn't working. I might be across the table from it on 2 or 3, 4 more deals in the future.
Absolutely.
I might, and by the way, I might say whenever one of his listings come across from one of my clients, go, oh, but he's difficult to deal with.
Yeah, yeah.
He's difficult to deal with.
Yeah, so I mean, so the first example, right? So I have I'm representing the buyer, and they're looking to buy a condo, and out of the blue, I get here's a document that shows past liens based on not paying the HOAs. Right. Which automatically raises a red flag.
Right.
But I need to investigate it. So I go down the path. I'm working with my buyer's agent, and I'm asking the questions. And I say, what does the current state look like at this particular complex? And I asked title, and title's like, well, we don't have that. We just have the past record. And I said, okay, well, are these cleared? And they say, yeah, we did the title search, and those records are clear.
Yeah.
I'm like, fantastic. So I then asked the buyer's agent, can you ask the listing agent to put me in touch with the HOA, or can they find out if there are any HOAs that are 60 days or, HOA dues that are 60 days or more past due? Because that is going to determine whether we're going Fannie or Freddie. Right. And that's what our offer is going to be. And that agent, the listing agent's feedback that I got through my buyer's agent is the fact that you're asking that question automatically disqualifies your client.
Right.
What? Are you insane? How is that automatically disqualifying? It should actually enhance our offer, because I happen to want to know whether we're going to, take off from LAX, and are we flying to Aruba or are we flying to Jamaica? Right. And it really does depend. Right. And you have to have all of these things lined up. So, I'm not a big fan of, all these gotchas and surprises and things that if I just asked more questions that we would have been able to change things around. I'm in my 40s, right? So if I can prevent drama and all the craziness that goes on during a transaction, I'm going to do it. Right. And that includes, if there's information that pops up that'll raise a red flag, I'm going to call them on it.
Yeah.
And we're going to find out that information.
Yeah.
And, so the flip side of that is, I'm working with, so I closed the deal, and, I was representing the buyer and the listing agent. We had good rapport, right? So I was giving them updates and everything, and I went I then met with them, and
which
I met
is
with
huge,
the buyer's
by the
agent.
way. There's a misconception that when you're working with a lender, that they're your lender, and that's you're only going to keep it in that tight little circle of communication that they'll never. But if they can have great rapport with the listing agent, you're so far ahead of the game.
Oh yeah, I mean, I don't have to prove myself.
No,
it's already done. I already have the case study right there.
Right.
It's right there.
Right.
So so I, being the industrious loan officer I am, I then followed up with that agent, and he said, well, just stop by the office, right? And go introduce yourself. So I did. I introduced myself to these buyer's agents. This is a big team, right? Big team. So I'm meeting with the buyer's agents, and then a couple days later, I'm in Texas, and I get, hey, can you knock out a pre-approval? And I'm like, oh, okay, sure, no problem. So we go down the path, and I get a phone call from another agent, and I was like, oh, it's just a buddy of mine, whatever, I'll call back in the morning. And then all of a sudden, I talk to the buyer's agent, and the buyer's agent says, he knows you. I was like, oh, really? Okay. So he's like, yeah, the listing agent actually knows you, and they think pretty highly of you. I was like, cool. So I call everybody up, and I find out that, actually I've done a lot of deals with this particular guy, right? So, first of all, that automatically enhances our level of making that offer, right? Because there's already a familiarity with everybody in the transaction.
Right.
But, what's interesting is I talked to the listing agent, and I find out that in this particular case, this condo has one owner. Out of 29 units, they own 10.
Oh boy.
That's an investor concentration.
That's a problem.
Right?
Yeah.
So
why don't you explain to everybody why that's a problem?
The reason why it's a problem is because there are guidelines, right? So Fannie and Freddie, they have guidelines, and you cannot have, if the unit has more than 5 units, you cannot have more than 10% of the overall units owned by a single investor.
Right.
And the reason why is because they don't want you taking control of the HOA. Right? And taking control of the building and taking control of everything.
And in addition to that, I would assume that part of that is also that if you have that concentration on one person owning so much of the building, and then their finances take a dump, then you're basically, that's going to affect the entire building.
Exactly. Yeah, that's obviously that's the most important
if they
thing.
all if 10 condo units all of a sudden have to go on foreclosure.
Right.
that affects the value of every single person there.
100%.
Right.
100%. So I'm talking to the agent, I'm looking at all the different options, and I said, well, we could do this as a non-warrantable condo, which means that we would go and do the broker route, and this particular lender, the broker, they don't care about that, right?
Yeah.
They're good with taking the risk, but it's a higher rate, right? So we're looking at that, and the client was adamant, no, we've got to have it this rate. So I just kept following with the listing agent, and we've got a rapport, which is awesome, and we just keep going. We keep working it, and we actually came up with Fannie Mae has a project eligibility waiver.
Right.
And in digging deeper and talking to the head of the condo team for guaranteed rate, he actually said, he's like, look, as long as you can find comps in the area that show that within a mile that there are other investors that own more than one unit in a building, then you're good, right? As long as there's no delinquencies past 60 days, right? So that whole thing's come up again. So what we're doing is we're reverse engineering the process, but I'm working with the other side to get the deal done.
In tandem, yeah.
Right? So that's the magic of what can happen when you do have rapport. So you don't need to put up these big giant walls.
Right.
And it should be, hey, we want to have a win-win.
Yeah.
And I think too many agents, they put up that wall and they don't get to experience the magic.
And not only that, I'm not going to go too deep in this one because it's it's one of my live transactions and everything like that, and I don't want to go so deeply. But we've got I've got an agent that's playing games on the other side, and I will say this, that my client is so stellar. It's literally it's not even that they're playing a game. Now, I don't know if it's him that's being greedy. Could be. Right? Or if it's his client that's being greedy. That's probably possible, right? But if they're both playing greedy,
right,
they could potentially lose a deal that is a sure thing, that is a slam dunk.
Yeah.
So you have these agents that are, first off, being assholes. Don't be an asshole.
Right.
Is it really that complicated? Do I really have to tell you guys?
Should have learned that in grade school.
In grade school, don't be an asshole. Right. So number one. Number two, don't play games. Don't play games.
No.
Right? It's always better if you're above board and you're on, everybody's on the same page, because everybody walks across the finish line in a better place. Everybody's winning that game. Right? If you get an extra, $1,000, $2,000, whatever, some sort of, seriously, you're really going to flush down a toilet like a sure thing,
right?
Just so that you can maybe make an extra 3, 4, 5, whatever.
It doesn't make sense.
It's just not. It does not make sense out there. So if and that goes for buyers too, right?
Oh yeah.
You got those buyers who we're going to make this offer, but then when we get to the request for repairs, we're basically going to ask for this, and basically my net's going to be no. They're going to look at you. They're going to go maybe, or they're going to go no.
Right.
And then you lost out on a great house.
Yeah.
You played games. You lose.
Well, and I think we talked about this, right? I think the entertainment factor out there, there's a lot of TV shows where all they talk about is the deal, right? And it's this back and forth, and so as a buyer, you're trying to pull one over, and you're trying to get
9 times out of 10 they win the deal. By the way, right? They only show those deals, right?
But they don't even talk about all the other steps, which are the only ones that make sense. The only ones that are important and anyone cares about is when it closes, right? Not when you get an agreement on the purchase price, but that's what they celebrate. And it's this whole battle back and forth, and well, I told you this, and you need to come up, and you got to come down, like all that stuff, and the high kicking and everything else. I mean, it makes for good entertainment.
They need drama for entertainment.
But it's brainwashing the buyers, and the sellers, right? So what they need to realize is, look,
cool your jets.
We're like you're fighting, and you're in the house, and you're about to go on a vacation, but you don't realize you're going to be together for 30 days.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
So why are you fighting over who's going to have the front seat or not?
It's like, the episode, I used to watch The Real World.
Oh yeah.
When I was there. There was always some, douchebag that would walk in on the first day and be like, I'm
Right.
going to get completely drunk
Yes.
and do this, act terribly and all that. And everybody's looking around.
I'm having flashbacks to the real world.
Really, I swear to God. And the other people looking and go, oh my God, it's Puck. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like, oh,
Right.
who's this
Yeah.
fucking Puck guy?
Yes. Yes.
So you don't want to be Puck.
You don't want to be Puck.
How about that? Let's just
Don't be Puck.
I'm gonna make a T-shirt that says "Don't be Puck."
Don't be Puck.
But so that's kind of one of the big things that was happening, and then last night, I mean, I have to say, I'm really being sour on my occupation right now. I just right now there's just so many folks out there that give it such a bad name that I'm getting to the point where I really don't blame the kind of hesitation that people kind of have when you tell them that you're, what you do. It's just part of me that's almost ashamed of it. There's a real part of it that's like, I can tell by the look on your face, but you're like,
Well, I mean, I wouldn't necessarally in your case, right? So, I was talking to
it's
one of
different
our,
for me though, dude. It's so
well, that's
different.
the thing. Well, I know. So I was talking to you about a potential new guest that we're going to be having on, or actually not a potential, but he's coming on next week.
Yeah.
I was explaining that you come from the producing world and you come from the entertainment world, and you saw the profession of real estate, but you really got into the the romance of the real estate and the aesthetic, and really doing it the way that that fits you and how you want to buy a house and how you would want to sell a house.
Right.
And you don't toe that company line. You don't toe that traditional, you got to be, real cheesy.
Interesting
and
story.
Smarmy.
Literally just this morning, I was having a little breakfast meeting, because you do all this networking when you're part of this kind of business and all that. And I was having coffee with a guy, and we were talking about basically how we approach sales that are not close to us.
Right.
Okay, so I'm predominantly in the Valley, but I do deals in Los Angeles all around because I was born and raised here. So and I feel comfortable doing that, right? But he looked at me and he goes, "So you're telling me that if you had $1 million deal in the Laguna Hills, you wouldn't do it?" I looked at him straight in the eye. I said, "No." I said I wouldn't do it. I'm gonna do my clients a disservice. By doing it, not because I think that you need to know the area. Like, that's a line of fucking bullshit.
Okay.
That's total bullshit. You do not need to know the area.
Right.
Right.
To do a transaction.
There's so many tools nowadays.
Yeah.
They literally tell you where, the schools are this the schools have this rating. I can look down the street and see that there's a Ralph's grocery market. I don't, I can look around and say, yeah, it looks like a nice area. It doesn't look like there's graffiti on the windows. You know what I mean? It doesn't take someone living there for 30 years to be an expert on the area. Right. Okay. I'm the mayor of, Encino. Bullshit. Right. But that being said, what you do lose when you have something that's 40, 50 miles away is if I get a phone call and it's like, hey, listen, there's somebody who wants to get into the house.
It's true.
Can you please be there?
Yeah.
No, I can't be there.
Right.
I certainly can't do it within the hour.
Yeah.
So no, I'm going to go and serve my clients better by giving them to somebody else.
Right.
That's going to be a much better deal in the long run. I'm playing the long game in terms of my business.
Right.
I'm not going to take a short-term profit just so that I can, just get a transaction.
Right.
It's more important to me that I have somebody who loves me, because then they're going to tell everybody that they know in the San Fernando Valley, you got to go to that guy.
Right.
Because he took such good care of me by handing me to somebody else.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's we talked about this multiple times. It's the difference between being relationship focused and transactional focused.
Right.
And there were a lot of people in our industry that they just care about the transaction and will blow up the relationship, that will blow up themselves just to fight and claw and everything just to get that one deal.
And they're hanging on to it. You know what I mean? They literally are like, holy God, I shouldn't be here. It's like I've had my folks talk to me about, well, why don't you do leases? Or why don't you do commercial? Because I don't fucking know commercial or leases.
Right.
I don't know them.
Right.
I mean, I don't know them like I know residential.
Right.
Backwards and forwards. When I get a phone call, I don't want to feel tense inside that I don't know the answer.
That's right.
So I stay in my lane.
That's the way to do it. And then you have other people that are experts that you partner with, and you're able to send those deals. I mean, I have a commercial guy who does lending, and he's a broker. He does a great job. Right. So I send him to, I send my clients to him. He takes care of them. He gives me residential deals. It works.
So if someone is courting you, if you're a buyer, if you're a seller, you pay attention to what do they do?
Right.
What do they predominantly sell? What do they predominantly lease? What is it? What is it that they do?
Yeah.
And that should be one of the primary things that you're using as your deciding factor. If you've got a shopping center and you want someone who sells houses to sell it for you, you're probably going to get a guy who's going to be in over his head really quick.
Right.
Now, don't get me wrong. There might be people who have over the years started developing a talent for it, or has, it's like, and it's time for them to jump in. That's a little different. But you got to make sure that what you're getting is an expert. Get an expert.
Right.
Period.
100%.
Colonel Sanders, they do chicken right.
Right. It's true.
They do chicken right.
It's true. I mean, so there's two sides of this, right? So you have location-centric agents, and then you also have relationship agents, right? So it's all about who has the relationship. So yeah, I mean, there's agents that, they're going to take care of that family's portfolio of homes in Miami and in Vegas and in LA and in Paris and all over the place, right? So you have the client-centric type agents, and then you have the ones that are location-based. But what yours is a little hybrid. You could still be client-centric, and you're just using the best use of your tools by outsourcing, opening the door, and doing all the transaction side of it, but you still maintain the clients.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, I mean, it's if I'm sending someone over the hill or to Newport Beach or wherever it is, I'm not talking to them.
Right.
At the same time, I'm continuing to say, listen, if something, is a question or something like that, I'm not going to step on the other agent's toes.
Right.
But I'm there. My thing is, I'm like a doctor.
Right.
I'm always trying to be the doctor.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
And if you go to a hospital in, New Orleans, let's just say, right? And, there's something wrong with you in New Orleans, but you've been with me, you're going to call me up and say, look, Doc, I got this problem.
Right.
Is this related to anything we've had before or whatever? I'm there. I'm going to advise you. I'm going to talk to you.
You're the general practitioner. I mean, we just had this, and I mean, with Gidget, right? So, that's our little Pomeranian. Little Pomeranian. And she, has cancer and all horrible things. Yeah. And, we have a primary person that we have in VCA West LA that have taken amazing care of us.
Right.
But to do this radiation therapy, we call it summer camp, we had to go to Culver City, right? And we did that 20 days in a row. Yeah. And we made great friends and, loved the people. But, now that Gidget has to do her, now she's doing chemo, that's going to be, and other stuff, that's going to be back at West LA, right? Yeah. So they referred us back, right? Because that's where the home base is. So it's not like they took all of our business and they have to, they have to freak out, VCA, West LA. They don't, right?
Right.
So it's all about, referring out that specialist. I'm in a fortunate case where I don't have to be on the ground. I mean, I'm doing loans I can do loans in 50 states, right? I'm looking at something in South Carolina now. I just did one in Texas, and, I don't have to see the client face to face, just have to have a phone, right? And a computer. Like that's my thing.
Yeah.
But it is client centric, right?
Yeah, right.
There are certain things that I'm just not going to actively pursue.
Ramrod down the pipe.
Right. Exactly. Like people that, beg me for the pre-approval when they're not qualified.
Yeah, right.
Right? I mean, I mean, that's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
Right?
And I saw something and this is kind of how I'm going to be wrapping this rant up. Thank you very, very much to my listeners for actually listening through to this point. But, I saw something last night that was one of the saddest things I've literally seen ever in my life. And it was, that's a bit of an exaggeration. I've seen much worse things than this.
Yeah.
But I'm standing in line at Smart and Final. and I'm with my daughter, and I'm sorry, my son actually, and we're standing there, and the guy two people in front of the line from us is at the cash register, right? And God bless the cashier. She was probably told that for her $15 an hour that she has to pretend like she likes the people that are standing in front of her and have to make some sort of conversation. Right. By the way, that's one of the reasons I may not even go into Trader Joe's anymore, because Trader Joe's, it's almost like too much. It's like they've literally like said you have to like delve into their like like I've literally had like a bottle of beer and some ice cream cookies or whatever like that. And they're like, hey, it looks like you got a big night ahead kind of thing. It's like, dude, that's none of your damn business. That's none of your damn business. Leave me alone, right?
Right.
So, but no, I love Trader Joe's. I'm just joking. But I actually eat there every single day, actually.
Beer and ice cream sounds amazing.
Beer and ice cream is not a bad thing, actually.
Not a bad thing.
But so the checker it says to the guy, and I just noticed it as she says it. She said, "Oh, you got a realtor pin on, right?" And he's like, "Yeah." And he goes, and she goes, "Oh, so how's everything going?" And she's frantically trying to box things, and is how are things going? And we're like, oh, and he kind of sighs, and he kind of goes, "Oh, things are getting pretty busy out there. Kind of busy." And, I'm keeping really active and all that kind of thing. Oh, great. My I want to say husband, or it could be, no, my sister is looking for a house in Westlake Village. Oh. And literally it was like watching a light get switched on. All of a sudden the guy comes alive.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
He was Mr. Droopy.
Right.
And then all of a sudden he's like, oh, really? Well, I saw a wonderful 3-bedroom, 2-bath for this and that. And then, and it goes right into sales mode. And I'm watching this in my civilian clothes. And I'm watching this guy literally, I mean, we talk about, I don't sell. I mean, if I do sell your house to other people. Right. But I'm never selling to my clients. I'm selling my clients to other people or their houses to other people. Okay. And to watch the guy just go into that hard sell, and the poor counter person, the checker, literally I watched her body language just shrink. Right. Like, oh crap, I've let loose a beast. Right. I'm going to hear this guy. Yeah. And he literally, I don't want to say berated her because that implies that he was angry at her, but he was literally just, bombarding. That's a bunch better. Yeah. Bombarding her like, this is, I got the property, and she literally had to finally go, well, they already have a realtor, Right. And it's really, and I looked at it and I got so angry. I got so angry. Yeah. Because this son of a bitch. Yeah. He couldn't just be a human being. Right. He couldn't just be a human being. And because of that, everybody else hates realtors. Everybody hates real estate agents because that's what they become. Right. They're just literally maybe a step above used car salesmen, but maybe not. Right. Probably on the same level. And it's literally, it made me feel so sick inside. Yeah. And it's like, you make it so hard for me. You make it so hard for them. You make it incredibly hard for these people when they want to have help to buy or sell their house. They're looking elsewhere. They're looking at FSBOs, for sale by owners. They'd rather do it themselves. I know. It's so funny you say that. Deal with that. So we're recording this at WeWork in Culver City, and we actually had Tom and I, we had a lunch and learn here a couple weeks ago, and even at a place where I have an affiliation because I'm part of WeWork Pasadena. And the fact that we had a home buyers seminar here, there was a table next to me and they were talking about a home. They were talking about buying a home. They were talking about, the down payments and all that stuff. But, I left them alone, right? Yeah. I didn't even drop the business card. Yeah. Nothing. Now, if we were talking, I could be like, I couldn't help but overhear. This is what I do for a living. Yeah. I'm not going to bombard into a conversation of people that I had no business of doing. Yeah. Right? So... now if I'm sitting around and we're talking about it and something comes up, sure, absolutely. I'll, seize on that moment.
But you know,
But
cashier,
in a real
it
way.
wasn't. Yeah, but that cashier, it wasn't. She wasn't even the buyer.
She was making small talk.
Yeah, she was making small talk, and it wasn't her. It was her family.
I
right?
saw him reaching into his pocket.
You said it was like her.
It was
family,
like a
right?
sister or something.
Sister?
And I saw him reach into for the business card.
Yeah.
Reach in for the business card.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's had 20 seconds with her.
Right.
20 seconds. And in that 20 seconds, he was able to enrage me.
Yeah.
I can only imagine what she felt.
Yeah.
And I've talked to you about this before.
And you could have just gone up and be like, you know what? That guy, he does a bad service. But if you really want a good deal, here's my card.
Well, you know what I was going to say. And this is, I literally was toying with, I literally wanted to step up and smile at her and say, by the way, did you know that 1 in 50 people in California are real estate agents?
That's funny.
You know what I mean? It's just,
Yeah.
because it's just literally ridiculous.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think it's a funny story. So, when I was in Hilton Head, growing up, my buddies and I, we worked at a resort, right?
Yeah,
so,
you told me.
I told you about it.
You were a cabana boy.
I was the cabana boy, and I remember, there would be, new girls from Ohio. They would come into town, and with their families and everything, and literally we would just let the other tourists mess up.
Yeah, right.
So the girls would come in on Sunday, and then on Monday and Tuesday, the local, the tourist guys, they would come in and they would try, be really aggressive and hit on the girls and all that.
Yeah.
They were so turned off.
Right.
And then we were able to just, be the local guys, right? And just kind of, swoop in.
Smooth operators.
It was so much better, right?
It's just,
and that's kind of the same tact that I have with business. Like,
It's
yeah,
just-
if someone's bombarding you and hitting you and hitting you and hitting you, let the first guy screw up and then be able to come in and be the hero.
I mean, do you know who doesn't knock on doors or send out mailers to you?
Right.
Doctors,
True.
lawyers,
True.
people who should be respected. Now, that being said, I don't have 6 whatever years of college or whatever it is to do it.
Right.
That's fine. I get it. Maybe maybe I've got a grand idea of what people should deserve, but you don't. Seriously, it's not every time you have a conversation with someone isn't some opportunity
Right.
for you to make a kill. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. I'm sure they were taught that somewhere.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Every opportunity is, every situation is an opportunity.
Well, I remember when I took Bold, which is this KW
Yep.
thing, right? They hand out this sheet, right, that literally has a list on it of all the people that can bring you business.
Right.
And it's like every person you meet. It's like
Absolutely.
gardener.
Yeah. Dentist.
Yeah. Hairstylist. These are all people that can, be
Right.
a pipeline for you. Okay, but at what point does your knowledge and expertise play a part in all this?
Right.
At some point, it's if you're out there and you're like going out and saying, what are you saying to these people to send you business if you've never done anything?
Right.
Right?
Yeah. No,
How?
you're a lead generation engine.
That's all you are. That's
Right.
literally true.
Yeah.
It's like it's you could put it on automatic. It could an AI could do that. Some artificial intelligence could cold call people and literally just kind of go, here's the script, and get sales.
Absolutely.
I'm telling you, it's a numbers game.
Sure. I mean, it's already happening, right? I mean, you have all these websites where people are going to be able to buy homes online and complete the transaction and everything else, right?
Yeah.
So it's already happening. And the reason why is because they are looking at, where is an opportunity to disrupt? I mean, it's a $210 trillion industry.
Yeah.
And clearly there's some areas that are broken, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, even on the lending side, sure, there are certain areas.
Yeah.
I try to, I'm not afraid of, the big rocket at all.
Yeah.
Not even, right? Because, they're good on the front end in getting the pre-approval, but they can't close.
Right. Well, it's fascinating. This morning when I was driving to here, I was thinking about, everybody talks about like, what do you see as a model for your business? Like another business that you see as your model. And I was thinking about it, and everybody wants to be the Starbucks of this. I want to be the Starbucks of that, right? Where I give high quality and all that kind of thing. Yeah. And I was saying, you know what I want to be? I want to be the in and out of real estate.
Yeah.
And let me tell you why. There's plenty of other burgers out there.
Sure.
There's lots of burgers, and they're not good. They're not made with quality.
Right.
Right? But people aren't lining out the door to McDonald's. If you go into McDonald's, there's not a line, but if you look In-N-Out, there's a line of people because everybody knows that it may not be the best burger in the world. There's probably some burger at some 5-star restaurant that is made with, some
Have you had
sort of
Whataburger?
Truffles. I've never had Whataburger.
Whataburger's pretty good.
Is it really good?
It's really good. It's not In-N-Out though.
I will say this. At one time I went to Vegas and I
Sorry, Texas.
Yeah. One time I went to Vegas and I won really big. And there's this place called the Burger Bar that's in Mandalay Place, which is like that.
Yeah.
And they have like one of those really expensive burgers. It's like a $70, $80. I said, you know what?
Yeah.
I won big. I'm going to go have the truffle foie gras.
What?
It made me so nauseous. Can I just tell you, it was delicious. It was delicious.
Yeah.
But about halfway through, I was like, oh my God, I can't handle
So
this.
rich.
It's too rich.
Truffle, foie gras.
And I literally, the experience was like for days. I was like, I still felt that kind of like, oh my God, what have I done?
Right.
Anyway, back to what I was going to say.
Yep.
So there are those other.
So you want to be In-N-Out?
I think
You want to be a cult?
there's
like a cult following?
There's no question about the quality.
Yeah.
There's literally no question about that when you go in there and it's consistent. Consistency and quality. That's what I'm just going to, maybe, I mean, people don't maybe want to go to the In-N-Out of realtors, but you can go somebody else.
Sure.
Right? You can go to the, what's the word? French Laundry of whatever, and you'll pay through the nose for it, but you'll probably have an experience you'll never, it's like second to none, of course, yeah. But, there's something about lining up at an In-N-Out burger that just, what you're going to get, and it's going to be a solid hit. It's going to be a solid hit. But I'm telling you, that guy that I saw yesterday, that was the saddest McDonald's that you ever been in. Yeah. And it just made me feel
And
bad.
it didn't start, at McDonald's, it didn't start that way. I mean, the movie,
have you
The
been in a
Founder.
McDonald's lately?
Sure, like drive.
Can I just tell you, I have been in more McDonald's than I
We have kids.
would ever, because I have kids.
Yeah.
It doesn't taste like a burger anymore. It literally, when you put it in your mouth, you can taste the man-madeness of it.
Yeah.
Right? That's why it's the people who say, like, I don't understand what's so great about In-N-Out, right?
Yeah.
They're the two sides of that argument. It's like, what are you, crazy?
Right.
And the other side is I don't, but I'm actually in the middle on that. I understand if you don't think it's the greatest burger in the world. Yeah. But it's definitely, head and shoulders above McDonald's. Right. That's for sure. Yeah. And you just, and you get the value for your money.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really funny. I mean, when I think of my business and think of my profession and what I'm trying to achieve, I'm a highly skilled pilot, right? Yeah. I keep using that analogy, but it's so true because, if you don't have the flight plan, if you don't know where you're going, if you don't have the right amount of fuel, right? And you take off, things can go really wrong. Sure. Right? And it's okay once you take off and, once you're at cruising altitude, sure, you're going to dodge some of the thunderstorms and get around certain things. And you might have to be delayed. You might have to circle around, but you're going to land and you're going to land properly. And, just taking off because we're in escrow, we got to take off. It's not really lining up. It's not setting people up for a smooth process, a smooth transaction. And that's really what I like to do is I like to control as many variables as I possibly can.
Of course. Well, and by the way, when I'm talking about, I'm not talking, what do I see myself as is in terms of how I am as a real estate agent. Yeah. I'm always looking at, I am a doctor. I'm always looking at that. I'm diagnosing problems and fixing the problems and all that. Right. I'm talking about my greater business. I'm just talking about the
quality. Quality is important and delivering something that you're proud of.
Exactly. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. There's a reason there's a line out the door until 1 a.m. every single day at an In-N-Out burger. Absolutely. And that's because people know what they're going to get. There's no surprises. Right. And somehow every time new employees come in, they have that consistency of quality. Right. And that's what I think you deserve. I think that's what everybody who's out there looking for a house or looking to sell their house, they deserve that kind of quality. They don't need someone who's literally a trained monkey in the back throwing things into a microwave that are already made. This was interesting. The other day I went to a Jack in the Box. Right. Speaking of the other side of this, right? Now I will say that I prefer Jack in the Box over the other horrible fast food restaurants. But I asked, hey, is there any way that I could get like something extra or changed on the burger kind of thing? And it blew me away. They looked at me in the eye and they said, well, it actually comes in the box.
What?
It actually comes in the box. The sandwich that I had ordered comes in a box.
Okay.
They take the box.
Yeah.
They put it into some machine
Okay.
that heats it up or does, God knows, some magic.
Right.
Some Harry Potter shit.
Yeah.
And they hand it to me hot.
What?
So they couldn't take it apart,
Right.
and put it back in.
Oh, that's weird.
So
That's nasty.
I'm not saying that all of their burgers are like that.
Yeah.
But if that's what I was told, you
Yeah.
know what I mean? I kind of trusted the guy, you know.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, where do we get here from that?
Well, I don't know. I mean, if we're still on fast food. I mean, I remember. I mean, my dad had a bunch of restaurants growing up.
Yeah, like Taco Bell and stuff, right?
Yeah, yeah, Taco Bell, and when we had the Taco Bell on the island, PepsiCo, they said you need to use this meat and this vendor and this vendor.
Yeah, right.
And my dad's like, I'm not serving that to my friends.
Well, that's interesting. Really, he did that?
He did,
because
he got in trouble for it too.
My dad,
they were upset with him because he only chose the premium vendors, and he used Columbia Farms and the ones that actually had quality product. And it was okay. He charged a little bit more, but he thought, I mean, he
it was
thought
worth it.
It was absolutely. I mean, what's the difference between a 79-cent taco and an 89-cent taco?
Right.
Nothing.
And
but the quality and the experience was so much higher, right? So.
Right.
And I mean, it was a resort, so people are going to pay more on vacation.
I've literally gone out of my way around a fast food restaurant because I think their taco is better. Every time I go to that place, the taco is awful or whatever. Interesting, because my parents, they had for a little while the Big Donut Drive-In.
Okay.
So Randy's,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
That was original. My dad was the first manager of that.
Wow.
Swear to God.
You told me that before. I remember that.
The Big Donut.
Yeah.
It used to be called the Big Donut, and they had their own franchise, right? But he couldn't make ends meet because they were insisting that he use only their vendors.
Right.
It's like, you got to use these people, you got to use, to do whatever kind. And it was like, for him, it was just like, well, that's all my profit.
Right.
That's all going out there. And who's to say that it was better quality?
Yeah.
Now, I get this, that they want to keep consistency.
Correct.
Right? But
Yeah.
if it's at the expense of quality.
Right. It was good that we were able to adjust the pricing, right? So
Right,
that was part of it. Because I mean, you're not going to reduce your profits, just for that. So you were able to align it. But really, what my dad did was he aligned the quality with the pricing that was akin to that particular market.
Yeah.
Which is what you're supposed to do as a marketer.
Right.
Right?
Totally.
You're supposed to look at your market, and you're supposed to make sure that you price it appropriately and that you have that same quality. It's really funny. So I'm having these meetings in Texas because I don't know, there's a lot of people moving to Texas, right? So tons of people moving to Texas. And it's really funny because I actually have a couple of agents there that are looking at me as like, you're my LA connection. And because there's all the drama and there's all, you're already working on these big jumbo loans and all that kind of stuff, you already are accustomed to working on bigger deals and faster deals and more efficient deals. And the lenders in Texas, they're not keeping up.
Yeah.
Right? So you have this very sophisticated clientele that's moving into an area where the existing market, the existing lenders, they're not keeping up. And these agents are going crazy. They're turning into California agents.
Right.
Right? But I'm like, I've already been there.
Yeah, right.
I've already experienced, I've watched that movie. I already know what it's going to be like.
I'm already running the race.
Yeah. I mean, we closed the deal in 24 days. And it was like, everyone was like, what the hell just happened?
Yeah.
Right. So it's that's kind of how, I approach it and looking at those different opportunities.
Yeah. All right. Well, this was supposed to be news. I knew that this rant was going to go a little long, but I wasn't sure how long. But why don't we skip ahead to our final story, just so.
Which one? The China or millennials?
No, we'll get to this news eventually. But wasn't there something about bachelor parties or something like that?
Yeah. Well, okay. So the first part is, it says the struggle is real for millennial home buyers.
Yeah.
Right. So what they're saying is that it's going to be an intense house hunting season, especially for young buyers. They're facing a lot of competition, and they also have to keep up with, really what they can afford, right? And, what I saw as the big takeaway with this article, and this is from CNN, is that, look, if you partner up with experienced agents, like people talking right now, you really can step out from, these other offers and really get engaged in the process and understand it and trust, right? That's a big piece of it, is just trust that we know what we're doing. We're there to help you. We're there to guide you. And you're going to need someone to really manage this transaction, because you just putting in an offer doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, right.
Right? You're gonna need that, and that's one of the challenges. And then the other article goes on to say that it says millennials are wasting home down payments on bachelor blowouts. So it says millennials spend an average of $1,532 on a single bachelor party. Going to 9 bachelor parties, nearly $14,000, costs about 34% of a down payment on a median value U.S. home.
Yeah.
Right. So it's all about experiences and everything else. And, we want everyone to have a good time out there. But, if you're serious about buying a home, you might want to skip a couple of those parties.
Trip to Vegas, and
have a birthday brunch.
Right. Some sort of have
a bachelor
budget
party brunch from Hangover.
I will say this, that and we're going to wrap up here, but listen, guys, if I could go back in time, and literally just like 10 years, 12 years, and talk to my my younger self, I'd be saying, save the money. Save the money, even if you don't do real estate, right? Now, listen, if you had been invested in real estate 12 years ago, you'd be doing just fine right now, right? Save that money. I'm telling you, it's going to pay off hugely in the future. And
money's supposed to double every 7 years, right?
And I will say this, that you might be hearing noise about, oh, you want to, you want to rent, why would you buy, and you already went through we saw what happened to the housing market and Somebody's going to buy those houses. Somebody's buying those houses. And guess what? They're going to be making all the money.
Right.
Not you. They're going to be making all the money.
Well, why don't rent and then just buy an investment property so that you get the appreciation and you get the income?
Do that.
Right.
But buy.
Yeah.
Save your money and buy. If you can't buy here, buy an investment property someplace else.
Yeah.
Because that's literally, if I could go back in time and tell myself to do something different. Instead, I was a bit younger. I just wanted to go out and take trips with my lovely wife and just do, have our nights out at the wonderful restaurants and all that kind of thing. And you know what? Those memories are there, and that's great and fantastic. But I literally wish I'd squirreled it all away and just invested the money I could have made. It's just so short-sighted.
Yeah.
So short-sighted. Because guess what? You don't live forever. I hate to tell everybody that, but you don't live forever. And, everybody thinks that they're going to have another shot at this. And if you don't have some way to prepare for what's coming later on, like my parents we're running into an issue now where it's like literally we're wondering where, we're going to take care of them, how we're going to take care of them and stuff like that, because money is not what it should be.
Yeah.
So definitely, guys out there, don't blow it. Just, it's nice having, a really cool trip to Vegas with your friends, but in the long run, it's so much better to literally walk into your new home and sit on the floor, drink a beer there. It's literally, that's the party you want.
Yeah. And host all your bachelor parties there. And charge your friends.
There you go. Put up a pole dancing pole in the
right. Build a nightclub in your extra
That's
room.
really what we're talking about here.
Yeah.
That's really what's. Yeah. All right. Well, that's about it for today. If you have any questions or comments, please don't hesitate to leave them for us on our Facebook page, facebook.com/Clarified Realty Podcast, all one word. If you have any questions about real estate or you're looking for someone to help you buy or sell a home, remember, I'm actually a licensed real estate agent. I'd love to help you out. So please email me directly at tom@clarifiedrealty.com or give me a call at 818-335-7662. Don't be shy. Give me a ring. For more exclusive bonus content and advice between episodes, please check out our website, www.clarifiedrealty.com. Also on our homepage, you'll find links to helpful buyer and seller guides that can give you some great information for starting your home buying or home seller process. So definitely check those out. I'm on Snapchat, Twitter, and Instagram as well. My handle for all three of those are at Clarified Realty. Please leave feedback and reviews on iTunes or in the comment section on our page. Together we're stronger. So if you have any questions or ways that we can make this podcast better, please let us know. My amazing theme song, Hey Now, is from the band Wolf. That's Wolf with 2 Fs, and please go check them out and like them on SoundCloud. They rock so freaking hard. I had something to say here that had something to do with the news, but it doesn't matter anymore because we started a rant instead. So just trust me, they rock. And just a little disclaimer, I'm licensed by the California Bureau of Real Estate. My license number is 01715353. Ron's is
Guarantee rate, NMLS 2611, NMLS ID 558706, California.
The advice we give is only for properties located in the state of California. For all other states, please contact your local real estate agent or real estate professional. Well, that's about it, Ron. You good?
I'm good.
All right. Well, thank you for coming, everybody. And remember, the greatest thing you can ever do is make someone feel at home. Take care, and we'll see you next week.